All right, everybody, good morning. Made it to Wednesday, and this is a good time for this video series to be hitting. This is a good time for this video series to be coming out because we lost safeties yesterday. Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams are hitting the market, and maybe there's some scenario where we bring back Diggs on a much lesser deal, but I seriously doubt it. There's no way Adams is coming back, so we need safeties. And this video series is going to be all about the strong safeties available in free agency. A few days ago, we did the free safeties, so we already covered like half of the free agents. So this video is going to kind of be the other half. So you take a look at the Seahawks right now. Strong safety. They've got really one, right? They've got Julian Love, who has 1 year left on his deal. There's intense debate over whether or not he's actually good. Some people think he's good. Some people think that he's not. Either way, there's no guarantee he's going to be here beyond the year. We don't have a backup at the moment. The backup might be Kobe Bryant. So that's not really a backup, right? That's just, oh, in case of emergency, throw this guy out there because it's better than having literally air out there. You hope. But I don't know if the Seahawks are going to be looking to break the bank or spend a ton of money at the safety position. Nevertheless, I think all potential outcomes should be explored. So we're going to use this video, this first video, to talk about the superstars available in free agency. The guys who are expected to command 14 mil a year on their new contracts, maybe even more, and see what we think about the potential fit in Seattle. One thing to keep in mind is that in Mike Macdonald's defense, the safeties are relatively ubiquitous. So while there is a little bit of a distinction between a strong safety and a free safety, that doesn't necessarily mean as much here because the strong safety needs to be competent at doing free safety stuff, and the free safety needs to be competent at doing strong safety stuff so they can swap back and forth and confuse opposing offenses. So a guy like, back in the day, Cam Chancellor, that's not going to work. Too one-dimensional. That's why some people were saying that, oh, we need to bring Jamal Adams back now because Mike Macdonald will get great things out of him because Mike Macdonald does this and that. I don't think Adams is going to be able to do all the things that Macdonald needs a safety to do in this defense. So we're looking for guys with a versatility. The way I see it, there are three guys who are going to command monster money at the quote-unquote strong safety position this offseason. Let's run through them real quick here. First guy just got franchise tagged. It's Kyle Duggar of the New England Patriots, just about to turn 28, so he is a little bit on the older side for a guy who's about to hit the open market for the first time in his career. He came out of college a little bit late. He was a Lenore Ryan guy, actually, so same college as Derek Young. Bigger guy, definitely a strong safety, second-round pick of New England 4 years ago, and he's had a impressive career. He's got 9 interceptions over the last 3 years. He's been part of defenses that are about as good as they can be. Given how bad the New England offense has been the last couple years, their defense has probably been about as good as they could possibly muster. He takes the ball away, constantly involved against the run. PFF didn't love him last year, I will say that. They thought he was a little bit of a sieve in coverage. But overall, they have thought pretty highly of him. They have thought he's been a big part of that New England defense being as good as it's been the last few years. And I do think that this is a guy who's probably going to get paid. Now, he could be example 154 of a guy who looks really good in a Belichick defense and then goes somewhere else and isn't any good. But I have a feeling that this guy's a little bit better than that. But at the same time, I'm not so convinced of it that I'm willing to overcome the transition tag part of it, where you will probably have to come up with a monster offer, an offer bigger than what the Patriots are willing to give him to get him, right? There's no scenario where you're going to be able to convince him, hey, you'll do better here than you do in New England. The future's brighter here than it is in New England. You don't want to stay in New England. You want to come to Seattle. That's not going to work because they put the transition tag on him. Right of first refusal is theirs. So you look at Spotrac, they say 4 years, $66.2 million. That's $16.5 million a year. That may end up being about where you have to get to. And I'm not really feeling it with this guy. He's obviously a very good player, but I don't get that super duper star feel from him. And he was in his physical prime last year. He was 27. He's not like, oh, I'm going to get way better in the next year or two. He's probably at his ceiling at this point, and it's a good ceiling, but I don't look at Kyle Duggar and go, he's the missing piece to make this defense great. This is not, to me, like an Antoine Winfield Jr. type safety. This is not some Earl Thomas type safety. This is not... I just don't see it. So if we're going to break the bank on a safety, I don't think it should be Kyle Duggar. Good player, really good player, deserves to get paid. I just don't see him... I just don't know if I see him needing to get paid like this. I don't think he's going to have that kind of impact on the game. Although, again, I think some people may underestimate how good he is because he doesn't have a big name. Next guy that I want to draw attention to would be Cameron Curl of the Washington Commanders these last several years. Just turned 25 a couple days ago, so very young here. Former 7th-round pick has become a pretty important part of that defense, which, I mean, it hasn't been great the last few years, admittedly, but he's been somebody back there trying to hold it together. Rookie year actually really flashed for a Washington team that would go on to win the division. 3 interceptions and almost 90 tackles, couple of sacks. Since then, hasn't been quite the playmaker, but he's still been a very important part of what they're doing in Washington. Still been clearly valuable. He has missed a little bit of time. He missed 5 games in 2022, but he has been a crucial part of what they've been able to have a little bit of success with over in Washington. PFF was a little bit cold on his season last year, but 2022, they thought he played fantastic football, great in coverage, great run defender, so great all-around player. Year before, they really liked what he was doing. Year before that, his rookie year, they liked him. So kind of in the same boat as Kyle Duggar, just without the Bill Belichick factor, where you look at a guy like Kyler Duggar and you go, is he actually that good, or did Bill Belichick just make him look that good? I don't think you can say that with Cameron Curl. He is just a really good player. He offers the versatility that we need. And I don't think he's going to be quite as expensive as Kyle Duggar. I don't think he has even the name recognition of Kyle Duggar. I think he's even a little bit more low-key. But he's younger. Like I said, he's 25. 25. He might get better. He might actually have room to grow. So this to me is a little more appealing. 4 years, $57.7 million, $14.4 million a year. Pretty dang nice. Pretty dang reasonable compared to the Kyle Duggar contract. But I'm still not really feeling it. I'm still not really feeling the impact that is going to be worth this kind of expenditure. And I'm going to say it again. It's going to take a hell of a thing for me to be willing to spend big on a safety right now. We just got past the spending big on safety thing. I'm not trying to run right back to it because it worked so well the first time. So I'm still a little bit off of this one, I must admit. I think he's a good player. I think that you get him out of that Washington situation, get him on a better team with better teammates, you'll see some really good results. But unless he ends up going for a lot less than I'm anticipating, which I guess it's possible, right? Because he is a little bit of a non-recognizable player. This is not a household name. I guess it's possible, but I do think something like this is pretty reasonable. I think people are going to be surprised by how much money this guy gets. So Cameron Curl, like it a little more than Kyle Duggar. Don't think I like it enough to make that big fat investment in. I think we can find better results elsewhere. Final guy for this video is a little bit more of a name player for me, somebody who I've heard a lot more about, Xavier McKinney of the New York Giants. Xavier McKinney, about to turn 25, so again, time is on his side. He might get better over the next few years. Coming off that rookie deal, Alabama draft pick, early second round by the Giants. Had a nice little career in New York. He did miss a lot of time in 2022. He missed basically half the season. But generally speaking, when he's been on the field, he's been a good player. He had 5 interceptions for a terrible Giants team in 2021. Wore multiple hats on that defense, playing in the box, playing deep. Did all kinds of stuff. Was a really good playmaker for that 2021 Giants team that went nowhere fast. And then last year, he had another really good year. 3 interceptions, 11 passes defensed, 116 tackles, involved all over the place on defense for a Giants defense that had a lot to overcome because of how bad their offense was. So Xavier McKinney, PFF loved him. They loved him in run defense. They loved him in coverage. High on him. Go back to some previous years. 2022 was the year he missed a lot of time. They didn't really like that season so much, but 2021, they're on board. So this is a little bit more intriguing to me. But again, I gotta say, what's the cost gonna be? What's the price tag gonna be? Spotrac says 5 years, 52.4 million. That's 10.4 million a year. I would probably do that. But I don't think it's gonna be this. Everything I'm seeing indicates it's going to be more than this. This is going to be like 14, 15 million a year. That I'm not so sure about. I like Xavier McKinney. I think he's a good player. I don't get the vibes off of him of being that safety that is worth 15 mil a year. I just don't. This deal I do all day. 10.4 million for a guy like Xavier McKinney. If this is true, gimme. But I'm not really buying it. I just kind of feel like his impact on the Giants defense these last couple years, playing in that Wink Martindale defense, by the way, so you know he's got versatility, you know he can play multiple roles, is going to fetch more than that. I think a lot more than that. So I think it's going to go to a place where I can't quite follow. But nice player, definitely on the radar, going to put him on the list, but I just have a feeling the price is going to be exorbitant. Remember, this projection was before the cap went up. So it probably goes up just because of that, and I think it's going to go up anyway because the value of this player is going to be relatively high. All right, so that's what I got for the superstars, the guys who I think are going to get 14 mil a year plus. And I'm not super interested in any of them, but there's a level of intrigue that I think is healthy to maintain for anything that could happen. All right, I will see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like these guys. More videos coming soon.